श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि विगाहे यामुनं तीर्थं साधु वृंदावने स्थितं निरस्त जिह्मगस्पर्शे यत्र कृष्ण कृताधरः. Swami Desikan sings in praise of Acharyan Swami Alavandar Yamunacharya in Slokam 8 of Yatiraja Saptati. Today is the Tirnakshatram Adi Uttradam of Swami Alavandar. Let us contemplate on the wonderful Vaibhavam of Swami Yamunamuni. Alavandar are also called as Yamunacharya. He was born and appeared on this earth for our sake from the year 917 to 1042, about 125 years. He was the grandson of Swami Sriman Nathamuni. தாளம் வழங்கி தமிழ் மறை இன்னிசை தந்த வள்ளல் ஸ்ரீமன் நாதமுனி. Yamunacharya is the Pracharya, Acharya's Acharya of Bhagavad Ramanuja. In fact, Yamunacharya is the one who had his kataksham on Bhagavad Ramanuja when he was with Yadava Prakasha from a distance. And Yamunacharya is the one who had established the principles of our Vishishtadvaita Sri Vaishnava Sri Vishishtadvaitam as an expansion, housed from his Tata grandfather's works, and elaborated on that in with authoritative, authenticate Vedanta Vishayams, scriptures such as Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Alvar Pasurams, Satvika Puranams, etc. He is the one who composed the earliest of the stotras in our Sampradaya. He wrote the 8 wonderful works which are quite deep, great and simple. Chatusloki, the 4 slokams on Mahalakshmi, Stotra Ratnam, 65 slokas, a great esoteric stotram, Siddhitrayam, Atma Siddhi, Samvit Siddhi and Ishwara Siddhi, Agama Pramanyam, Mahapurusha Nirnayam, Gitartha Sangraham, the summary of Bhagavad Gita, Nityam, a daily conduct of a Sri Vaishnava, Maya Vada Khandanam. So we recited the firstly the 8th slokam of Yatiraja Saptati on Yamunacharya by Vedanta Desikan from Yatiraja Saptati. Vigahe Yamunam Tirtham Sadhu Vrindavane Sthitam Nirasta Jihmagas Parshe Yatra Krishna Krita Dharaha. Alavandar is the one who learnt the Vedanta Shastras from his Acharyan, and Swami Vedanta Desika mentions here and he compares Vigahe Yamunam Tirtham. The slokam is intended to convey wonderful double meanings because he is Kavitarkika Simham. The word Tirtham generally refers to water, and that water is the one that purifies, and also to an Acharya who purifies us, Guru, the one who dispels darkness, Ajnanam. So Swami Desikan says that he has found great solace by immersing himself in the divine Kalyana Gunams, qualities, glories, Vaibhavam, Sri Suktis of Yamunacharya, Alavandar, just as how a thirsty person suffering in the scorching Veppam, heat, Tapam, finds great pleasure by dipping himself in the cool waters of river Yamuna. Just like a thirsty person jumps into the cool waters of river Yamuna, similarly, he has immersed himself in the wonderful qualities, glories, Sri Suktis of Yamunacharya. An obliging, mild sadhu, mild river, an obliging, mild here sadhu, also obliging, mild river Yamuna flows through the forest of Brindavana. Earlier, a serpent by name Kalingan, Kaliya, used to reside along with his family in the depth of Yamuna river. Due to the poison, nobody could use those waters in that Madu, backwaters. Krishna, after having driven away the Kaliya from the waters, played Rasa Krida joyfully on the banks with gopis in the bank of river Yamuna, and river Yamuna in this way was greatly venerated by Kannan, purified by Kannan. Alavandar also gave us, blessed us, preached us the esoterics, the inner essence of Vedanta to deserving disciples like Periyanambi and others, and was deeply dedicated to protecting them. Similar to Kannan driving Kaliya away, Alavandar also drew away the afflictions of samsara and the evils of kamam, krodham, lobham, moham, madam, matsaryam, desire, anger, pride, arrogance, etc. Just like how Kannan cast his divine glances at Yamuna, he blessed Alavandar too with his divine grace and benedictions. So beautifully, Acharya compares Yamuna Nadi and Yamunacharya. There is a great anecdote in the life of Alavandar. It will be very interesting to know for us. Once an arrogant Vidwan by name Akki Alvan was challenging and humiliating learned men. Actually, this Akki Alvan was the local Chola king's Asthana Vidwan. And Alavandar that time learnt, he was in his teenage probably, and he was learning Samanya Sastras from Mahabhashya Bhattar that time. And Akki Alvan, who was the Asthana Vidwan in the court of Chola king, other Vidwans had to pay him tributes, accepting his conquering or win in a battle of debate. Either you accept sovereignty, the Akki Alvans, or you win him in Sadas, debate, argument. Once a similar message was sent to Mahabhashya Bhattar, who was the young Yamunacharya's guru. And Bhattar was called by the royal court, indicating that he should pay tributes to Akki Alvan. And Yamuna said, I will go. So, when Yamuna, the 16-year-old boy, accepted the challenge and went to the court to argue with him, from the top, from the balcony, the queen and the king saw who was coming. The queen was so impressed with the tejas of the boy. And she told the king, she said, he is going to win. The king said, no way. Akki Alvan is so knowledgeable, learned, scholar. How this boy will win? Look at his tejas. She persuaded him to give away half the kingdom if the boy wins in the debate, and offered herself to be thrown to wild dogs if the boy fails. She took it so personally. Aki Alwan asked the boy, okay, you start. Since you are young, you start. He asked the boy to state 3 statements, positive or negative, whatever, which Aki Alwan will counter, saying that the statement is wrong. And if he could not, the boy will be declared winner. You got it? So Aki Alwan tells the boy, state 3 lines, 3 statements, mention. I will counter it, saying if it is a positive statement, I will say it is negative. It's not. What you say is wrong. If it is a negative statement, I will say what you say is incorrect. So Yamuna asked or stated 3 statements. He asked Aki Alwan to counter. What are those 3 statements? Your mother is not a barren woman. Your mother is not a barren woman. Naturally, he cannot counter that because if his mother is a barren woman, then Aki Alwan would not have been born. So your mother is not a barren woman is true. He cannot counter. First statement finished. Second, the king is a righteous and powerful ruler. Obviously, in front of the king, he cannot say the king is not a righteous and powerful ruler. Aki Alwan cannot say. Obviously, Aki Alwan could not afford to counter this also. And number 3, the queen is a pativrata, means she is a model of chastity. Oh no, he cannot definitely counter this. Otherwise, he would be beheaded. So Aki Alwan accepted defeat. Okay, I am defeated. Now the king asked the boy to disprove his own statements. You cannot just make 3 statements and walk away. You disprove. And the boy clarified. One, Aki Alwan's mother is not a barren woman. She is barren because the sacred laws, Shastra, say that only child is not a child at all. One son is not a son at all. You have to have more than one as per the Shastras. So Aki Alwan's mother was as good as barren in the eyes of Shastra, in the eyes of the law. Number 2, the king is righteous, Sarvabhauman. The king cannot be called righteous when he entertains such an arrogant person to be his Asthana Vidwan and not dismissing him. Obviously, the king is powerless. He is not righteous. Number 2. Number 3. Queen is a pativrata, a chaste woman. According to Shruti, Vedantam, every woman is wedded first to Soma and then to Gandharva and then to Agni in a marriage ceremony before being married to her earthly partner. First Soma, then Gandharva, then Agni, then getting married to the person whom she was assigned to, the earthly partner. The queen by means is not an exception and therefore cannot be deemed a model of chastity because she was already married to the 3 and then married to the king. This is just for the sake of argument, logic, because to drive home a point that logic cannot be the solution always. One needs to fall back on Shastras, Shrutis, Smritis for pramanams, for proof. The king sent Aki Alwan out of his kingdom, chaste, and gave Yamunacharya as promised to his wife, queen, half of his kingdom. And the queen hailed the boy, Ennai Aala Vandar Neer, Ennai Aala Vandiro. So he was called since then Aala Vandar, one who came to save her, save us also. Aala Vandar has become the king and could not attend to spiritual pursuits further. He was busy with his royal duties. So, Rama Mishrar Manakkal Nambi, who was one of the Sishyas of Uyakondar, who himself was the Shishya of Sriman Nathamuni. Nathamuni had instructed these Sishyas to make sure, have the eyes on the little boy, Yamunaitraivan, his grandson, and at the right time, please intervene and bring him into our sampradayam, into our fold. Swamin Sriman Nathamuni had instructed them. So Manakkal Nambi was trying to catch the king's attention, Yamunacharya's attention, to fulfill his promise to his guru, to bring Alavandar as the spiritual successor to Sriman Nathamuni. But he could not meet the king. It's not easy. Being a king, to discuss the matter is not possible. So he came out with an idea. He came to know that the king simply enjoys the delicacy by name Thuduvalai Kirai, a kind of spinach. He supplied that particular Thuduvalai Kirai, the spinach, to the royal kitchen every day without fail. After about 6 months, he stopped. The king asked the cook, why nowadays the spinach is not being served? They replied, one Brahmin used to supply every day. Nowadays he does not come. Alavanda said, one Brahmin? You should have told me before. If you see him next time, please bring him to me. And he came the next day. Rama Mishra was brought to the king. They met each other. Rama Mishra told Alavandar, the king, that his grandfather Sri Nathamuni had passed on the family dhanam, the kula dhanam, the treasure, the wealth that needs to be handed over to his grandson, Sri Alavandar. Alavandar said, he was not very much moved, but he said, his tata had given him, so give it to me. In that case, give me that, pass on to me. No, it's not here. Come with me, I have to show. It's somewhere else. It's immobile. He took him all the way to Srirangam. Arada Arulamudam Podinda Koil. He showed Alavandar the Divyamangala Vigraham of Sri Ranganathan, the reclining, majestic, divine Divyamangala Vigraham of Lord Sri Ranganatha. Looking at the Lord in such divine splendor, the divine majestic beauty, and looking with tears rolling down his cheeks. Kariyavagi, Pudai Parand, Milirnd, Shevariodia, Ninda, Periyavaya, Kangal Yanai, Pedamai, Shaidanave, in the lines of Tripan Alvar, Amalanathi Piran, those dark, well spread, shining, long, large, beautiful eyes have simply stupefied me. He was caught, arrested with the beautiful vision of Lord Sri Ranganatha and his divine eyes, the Tirumukam, the broad chest, and the wonderful Divyamangala Vigraham, the Langa Lavanyam. He bursts out. Because of the Acharya Kataksham, Manakkal Nambi's Kataksham, and Sriman Nathamuni's blessings, I have nothing to give you, Ranganatha, none at all. I have no qualification. I am not even religious. What a great person my grandfather was. Who am I? What am I? I have no one but you, the embodiment of daya, mercy, compassion, as the only refuge for me. And then and there, Alavandar performed Sharanagati at the lotus feet of Lord Ranganathan. In Stotra Ratnam 22nd sloka, he says, Na dharma nishtosmi na cha atmavedi, na bhaktiman tvaccharanāravinde, akinchanaha ananyagatihi sharanya tutpadamulam sharanam prapadye. O Lord, worthy of being sought as the Sharanagat, Sharanyan, I am not the one established in Dharma, Karma Yogam. I am not a follower of the self, Jnana Yogam. I have no devotion. I cannot perform Bhakti Yogam. I am not qualified. Utterly destitute as I am, and having no one else for refuge, for resort, for redemption. I take refuge. I surrender under your feet. Rama Mishra explained the purpose of his mission. Manakal Nambi, Rama Mishra. And he requested Alavandar to take over the spiritual leadership as an Acharya, bequeathed to him by his illustrious grandfather Sriman Nathamuni. Alavandar took to sannyasam and was then known as Yamunamuni. Swami Alavandar's slokams, stotrams are brilliant, beautiful. Bhagavat Ramanuja was so greatly inspired by Alavandar's works. And it is so nice, Alavandar's works. In fact, Swami Alavandar Taniyan itself is excellent, where he mentions the Taniyan Swadayanniga Sarvesham Trayantartam Sudurgraham Stotrayamasa Yogindraha Tambande Yamunahvayam. Swami Alavandar Taniyan so nicely he says, Namo Namo Yamunaya Yamunaya Namo Namaha. Namo Namo Yamunaya Yamunaya Namo Namaha. And Swami Bhagavad Ramanuja also mentions Vastutam Upayatoham Yamuneyam Namamitam. Vastutam Upayatoham. He made me a Vastu. And Vastu here, when he mentions he made me a worthy of an object, Bhagavad Ramanuja says. And the Stotra Ratnam and the Chatusloki are so beautiful that Chatusloki, 4 slokas on Mahalakshmi. Alavandar gave those 2 lyrical masterpieces. Stotra Ratnam is the beginning of, or the forerunner of, almost every stotram composed by acharyas like Ramanuja, Korattalvan, Parasara Bhattar, Swami Desikan, Madavala Mamuni and others. Swami Desikan has written extensive, beautiful commentary, Vyakhyanam on both Chatusloki and Stotra Ratnam because of their importance to our Sampradayam, Shastram, our Siddhantam. In Chatusloki, Yamuna focuses on the theme of Purushagara Prapati, the recommendation, and the Ekaseshitvam. Both of them together is our Divya Dampati, is our means and the destination. Ekaseshitvam refers to the practice of considering both Sri Devi and Bhagavan together as the means and the goal. And Alavandar bases the 4 slokas of Chatusloki on the 4 chapters of Brahma Sutra. His purpose was to demonstrate that the Kalyana Gunam, the attributes of Bhagavan saluted by the 4 chapters, are shared equally by his consort, Sri Devi, Mahalakshmi. And the most brilliant Stotra Ratnam, Alavandar proceeds to compose his tribute to Sriman Narayana with 65 slokams. The number 65 itself is so significant that it is the sum total of the 3 Ragasyams, Ashtaksharam, Dvayam and Charama Slokam. Stotra Ratnam is thus considered the essence of Ragasya Trayam, Ragasya Traya Saram. And the meaning of Dvayam is very beautifully interlaced in the body of this gem of among Stotram, Stotra Ratnam. And Alavandar so nicely called with Naichyanusandhanam, he came out with Nadharma Nishtosme. And in another slokam, he says, Aparada Sahasra Bhajanam Patitam Bhima Bavarna Vodare Agatim Sharanagatam Hare Kripaya Kevalam Atma Satkuru. O Hari, pray, I'm praying, make me your own out of your sheer daya, grace. Me who has fallen into the depth of the terrible ocean of worldly existence, and who, being resortless, have surrendered at your feet. Aparada Sahasra Bhajanam Patitam Bhima Bavarna Vodare Agatim Sharanagatam Hare Kripaya Kevalam Atma Satkuru. They are more appropriate and applicable to me, Adiyan, and not to Sri Alavandar. He has composed for me only. Alavanda's Naichyanusandanam, feeling lowly nature of oneself, the Jivatma as compared to the Lord's Vaibhavam, greatness, Kalyana Gunam, is very beautifully reflected in Stotra Ratna. In another slokam, he says, Amaryadaha, Kshudraha, Chalamati, Asuya Prasava Bhuhu, Kritagno, Durmani, Smaraparavasho Vanjanaparaha, Drishamshaha, Papishtaha, Katamahamiho, Dukka Jaladehe, Aparaduttirna Tava Paricareyam Sharanayoho. What a soul stirring, moving slokam. One cannot but cry reciting this, imagining us as the hero of the slokam. Alavanda describes in this slokam Amaryadaha, one who has crossed the bounds of established rules in the Sastram, one who has trespassed all that is mentioned in the Sastrams. Amaryadaha, Kshudraha, engaged in trivial, worldly, material, sensual pursuits. Chalamadihi, Sanchalam, never steady, fickle mind. Asuya Prasava Bhuhu, place where Asuya, jealousy, is born always. Kritagnaha, ungrateful one. Durmane, ill feeling towards fellow human beings. Smaraparavashaha, fallen into the desires, sensual impulses. Vanchanaparaha, skillfully cheating, deceiving others. Drishamsaha, engaging in violent acts. Papishtaha, incorrigible sinner. And Swami Desikan himself says in Dayasatakam, Ahamasmi Aparada Chakravarti. So, what a Naichyanusandanam. Swami Alavanda's works are the ones which give us crystal clear jnanam about our unparalleled, unambiguous Vishishtadvaita Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, the presence of which can never take us to the wrong roads. After taking so many births, millions of births, we, the Dasabhutas of Sri Alavandar, who have been blessed to be born due to the limitless, unconditional daya of Lord Sri Sriyapati Sriman Narayanan as a Sri Vaishnava in this birth. We are blessed to be born after so many births. We, the Dasabhutas of Sri Alavandar, and we have realized and taken up the Sharanagati Margam, Prapatti Margam, due to the Nirhetuka Kripai of Perumal, and who are bequeathed with such a great Acharyan, Yamunacharyan, we are blessed with the learning of his Sri Suktis, enable us to know the Tattva Trayam, Tattvam, Hitam, Purushartham, Chit, Achit, Ishwaran, crystal clear, and the Upayam, the means, the Upayam, the goal perfectly, and keep us reminded of the same, always contemplate. We would never ever read hereafter the works of those who belong to other religions, says Swami Desikan in Adhikara Sangraham. After taking so many births, we, the Dasabhutas of Sri Alavandar, who have been blessed to be born as a Sri Vaishnava, who have realized and taken up the Prapatti Margam, who are bequeathed with such great Acharyan, Swami Alavandar, because of whose Sri Suktis we are able to know the Tattvatrayam and the Upayam and the Upayam, the means and the goal perfectly, and keep us reminded of the same always. We would never ever read any other works anymore. Neela Vande, Indru, Vidhi Vagayal, Ninai Wondriya Naam, Meela Vande, after coming back on track. Innum Vinayodam Bondril Viralad. Again, we would not fall back into the Samsara Sagaram by going in the wrong track. Alavandar, Yana Vendru, Arul Tandu, Vilangiya Sheer, Alavandar Adiyom. Padiyomini Alvalakke. We would never ever read hereafter the works of those who belong to other sampradayam, other religions. Alavandar at Trivadigalai Sharanam. Adiyen. Dhanyosmi. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline. Srimate Venkatesaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.